Good afternoon, friends. This is a part of the Mahatma Gandhi State Institute of Public Administration series where we try and acquaint the taxpayer as well as public servants who are in charge of tax deduction at source, and also in general enlightened citizen as to what are the new developments taking place in the realm of law. And today we are talking about the income tax law, and rather the procedure regarding the income tax law. Now, yesterday the Prime Minister went live at 11 a.m. and he went live on the NICNet, which was simultaneously broadcast into the public domain. Those videos are there to be seen at the Press Information Bureau, YouTube, and so on and so forth. And the Prime Minister had some very telling statistics, which I would like to share before I then talk in terms of the faceless assessment, as some of our friends are already talking about. The caption of Prime Minister's talk was transparent taxation and honoring the honest. And he started off with some statistics. And statistics were quite telling. In a population of 135 crore, the assessees or the income tax pays are only 1.5 crores. And in terms of the detailed scrutiny which takes place, the Prime Minister gave the figures that also has progressively come down. In other words, whatever you file as a return is generally accepted by the Income Tax Department as final, unless there are discrepancies which require detailed scrutiny. So, in the year 2012 to 13, the chances that a return filed would be picked up for scrutiny was 0.94%, and that came down by a factor of 1/4 to 0.26% in the year 2018-19. 2018-19 में वो उससे भी घट गई. So therefore, to put things in perspective, a country of 135 crores, of course you say agricultural income is not taxed, the minors, so on and so forth, only 1.5 crore assessees, and the rate of scrutiny as of now was 0.26%. And another official figure in a pie chart which was let out by the department later in the evening, and I'll leave a copy of that at the end of this talk as a comment. But I was surprised that only 1% of the income tax pays have income which is over 50 lakhs. Just 1%. And we are not talking about tax, we are talking about income. And then into the second category, between 10 lakh to 50 lakhs, just 7% of the assessees. Between 5 to 10 lakhs, it is 17%. Between 2.5 to 5 lakhs, it is 18%. And a bulk of the people filing the returns, 57%, show an income below 2.5 lakhs. In other words, although they are technically assessees, they are virtually claiming refunds and not paying any tax. The tax could have been deducted at source on an FDR or so on, and 57% of the people have reflected an income of less than 2.5 lakhs. Now, practically, after you do the savings and so on, any person who's earning up to 5 lakh per annum virtually pays no tax. So, it is in this scenario that the Prime Minister very strongly proposed what he called as a seamless, painless, and a faceless type of administration. In other words, already we know that we are filing returns online, and once you do so, unless you're picked for scrutiny where you receive a notice and you have to submit documents, sometime in physical format, sometimes you submit online. But once you file a return online, for all intents and purposes, your job is done and complete. But there is much more in these reforms. In fact, when I heard the Prime Minister's speech and saw some of the press notes, I really thought that it was basically an extension of the e-filing. That is, you file a return, if you're picked for scrutiny, some questions are going to be asked, and then the Income Tax Act and the Income Tax Administration pretty much remains the same. But there is a paradigm shift. In fact, I was surprised when the statutory notifications issued by the Ministry of Finance came later in the evening, and I was planning to go live in the evening itself. But when I saw the depth and import of those statutory notifications, there has been a silent revolution, in my personal opinion, a change of paradigm as to how the Income Tax Department is going to work. It is not just a rhetoric, but sweeping and revolutionary changes have taken place. And from day one, the people, the assessees, are going to find the difference. So those notifications which have been issued on 13th of August, that is yesterday, they have come into force with immediate effect. So all the e-filing, all the filing of the income tax returns, how they would be picked up for scrutiny, so on and so forth, is operative immediately. The only deferred portion is your appeals. The appeals would also be faceless. You are no longer going to go to the Commissioner Appeals, your advocate appearing face to face, arguments, counter arguments, and so on. They have said the appellate procedure is going to go faceless with effect from the 25th of September, which happens to be the birthday of Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji, and from that day even the appellate procedure is going to go faceless and online. And similarly, to cut the litigation, they say the department will not contest any case in High Court unless the tax liability involved is more than 1 crore, and shall not pursue the assessee into the Supreme Court unless the tax impact exceeds 2 crores. Now, before I get into the procedure, before I get into how the national e-filing system is going to work, these are huge notifications in Hindi, in English, you can cull out, you have to read and reread, and I am not an expert, but I would still say that these are very, very sweeping changes, silent structural changes, not only the way the Income Tax Department is going to be organized, but also the way it is going to function and the interface between the citizen, the income taxpayer, the assessee, by whatever name you may call it. But I will like to cull out 3 points which are very important from a small business, from a small assessee, from a small shopkeeper to a small manufacturing concern, to a small restaurant or panwala, whatever you might call it, a taxi driver. The power of survey, it is codified under section 133A of the Income Tax Act. Now, as distinct from a search, which popularly are called income tax raids, those are separate things. A survey was, or rather is, under the law, something which your assessing officer can undertake. So, if you are filing your returns with an ITO in a ward or an assistant commissioner in a circle, subject to some internal permissions, the Income Tax Department could walk into your place of work. Survey could not be carried out in your residence. They could come to your place of work, check whether your books of account are up to date. Any stock which you have not taken, does the cash tally with, so on and so forth. So survey, although supposed to be a milder form of search, was a very potent weapon which could be used with unguided discretion by the income tax authorities. Now, Prime Minister's announcement, followed by the statutory orders issued by the Central Board of Direct Taxes under the Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue, Government of India, has made it very clear that this power of survey is no longer going to vest with the normal assessing officers as we know. This is going to be given only to the investigation wing, popularly called the raid wing, and there also no less an officer than the Director General of Investigation, which is equivalent to a Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, would specify that this particular premises has to undergo a survey operation. What used to normally happen is small businesses would put their residential address as the address for the purpose of income tax return. They were running a small shop, and the survey authorities would land up at your residence saying that, well, you've shown that you're running from your home here, so now this power of survey does remain on the statute book, but will be exercised only by the investigation wing, which is the raid wing, with the prior written approval of the Director General Investigation. So, as from today, any income tax officer, whether he may be an inspector, assistant commissioner, additional commissioner, commissioner, principal commissioner, he walks into your commercial establishment and say, hey, we are going to do survey under 133A. You can say, sir, this statutory order has been issued on 13th of August. You cannot do a survey unless there is an authorization by the Director General of Investigation of the raid wing or the investigation wing. So therefore, a big relief. And I know from my personal knowledge that some intermediaries would spread rumors कि survey की file move कर रही है, उसका मुंह बंद करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, and neither there would be a file which was moving, and a person would just come, go around, nothing would happen, money would change hands. Those are the allegations. Now this survey business is over, except with the authorization of a very senior officer of the raid wing. The normal assessment and the normal jurisdictional income tax officers, however high, are not now empowered to conduct these surveys. The other surveys, of course, they are going to take place is on the TDS, tax deduction at source, which is more like people paying salaries and collecting tax at source, drawing and dispersing offices of government and public sector undertakings, making contractual payments. So whether you are deducting tax at source, so surveys would also be there with reference to the TDS authorities, again authorized by senior Chief Commissioner level officers. But the fact remains that a normal small shopkeeper, business owner is now free from the sword of Damocles of survey. This is a big relief which Prime Minister has announced, and it has been followed by a statutory order which has been issued in yesterday's date itself. Second point, normally what would happen, some notice would come, you were asked to explain something, the income tax department says, hey, you purchased this car, Maruti car, explain the resources, you put an explanation, your chartered accountant or vakil goes, and the next thing you know, the notice is torn, there is no file, and masla jise kehte hain rafa dafa. I am not saying it was general practice, but instances like this were not infrequent. Now, a very important change which is effective as of yesterday. Any paper moving from the income tax department to the assessee. And my hunch is, if it is going to be from the income tax department to any person or the assessee, it would equally apply to within the various branches of the income tax department, would have a DIN number, a unique document identification number, so that ना वो कागज़ अगर निकला है रिप्लेस हो सके, डिस्ट्रॉय हो सके, all you got to do is have a DIN number, and if you have a notice, you want to have its authenticity, it will be there in the record of the income tax department for all time to come. You cannot say मैंने उससे बात की है, उससे बात की, उससे कहलवा दिया, वो डॉक्यूमेंट ही उन्होंने खुर्द-बुर्द कर दिया है, फाइल में से निकाल दिया, and so on. Similarly, the fuzzy type of notices which would come, you go there, settle the issue, and that notice is no longer there in the files of the department or the record of the department. So, any communication henceforth from the income tax department must have a DIN number. That would be the authentic and conclusive proof that it is a genuine document and a document which cannot be just torn off, deleted in any way whatsoever. It is a part of the permanent record. That is regarding the DIN numbers. Then there is the form 26AS. Normally we download this. All the TDS issues that you have, tax deduction at source, are reflected in form 26AS. So when I file my return as a salaried officer, when anyone else files his return, then what is the tax deducted on monthly basis by my drawing and disbursing officer, that figures there. Sometimes it could have been deducted by my DDO, but not deposited. There could be discrepancy. So, form 26AS is very important for us to see that the tax which has been deducted, whether from a fixed deposit receipt which I have in the bank, is properly reflected or not. Now, the scope of form 26AS is going to be greatly expanded. It will contain transactions like payment for credit cards, cash deposits. There's so many factors under which you have entered into transactions. लाख से ऊपर, 2 lakh से ऊपर, there's a huge list. They will figure in form 26AS, so that when you are filing a return, आप कृपया ध्यान से देखें कि मैं भर तो रहा हूँ यार 3 लाख की रिटर्न, तो मैंने जो फॉरेन ट्रैवल पे, मैंने जो होटलों के बिलों पर, मैंने जो गोल्फ क्लब के जो ग्रीन फीस है उसमें इतना पैसा जमा कराया है, am I not running into trouble? So form 26AS is a kind of a parallel account which the department is maintaining, and that is going to be revealed to you, so that it does not come to you as a shock कि यार मुझे ये इनकम टैक्स का कैसे नोटिस आ गया. Once you go through 26AS, no doubt your tax deduction at source process and particulars would be there, but other transactions, and not very huge transactions, but of different types which are being reported by the banks, by the businesses, by the airlines, travel portals, and so on, those would be clubbed and shown, so that while you know the TDS component on your income, you also know what are the expenses and investments that you made, so that you are careful and fully and completely declare the income that you've actually earned. Now, what is this e-assessment system? It is already in vogue. You're filing a return. If you get a notice, the case is under scrutiny. Otherwise, for all intents and purposes, by mere filing of your return, your job is done. Whatever you declared is deemed to be accepted. And as I quoted the figures, the rate of scrutiny is, the latest figures available, 0.26%. So, what's new about this? Now, in the existing system, we were going by territorial jurisdictions. Sector 1 से लेके sector 26 तक is range so and so. Within that there are these wards, and basically each and every part of the city was mapped to an IT officer or an assistant commissioner depending upon the income return. So essentially in 90% of the cases the jurisdiction was territorial. For every address that you've given in your PAN card, you are attached to an income tax officer in a ward or an assistant commissioner of income tax in a circle. So when you're filing or e-filing and the matter is picked up for scrutiny through a computer aided process or whatever, or the policy of the board, you would still be landing up to the same lady or the gentleman who would be sitting, in Sector 17 Ayakar Bhavan or somewhere in Delhi, in various places. You would know that my case is now with person X and Y, and your income tax advocate, your accountant, your chartered accountant would go there, submit the documents. Sometimes they would say, okay, please upload this. Those uploading would take place, but the scrutiny assessment, practically speaking, A, was face to face even if you were e-filing. B, you were territorially linked with an income tax assessing officer. Like अंग्रेज़ के ज़माने से कि अगर आपका ये गांव इस थाने में पड़ता है, if there is any offense, you have to go to that particular police station to get your FIR registered. अगर आपका गांव यहाँ पड़ता है तो उसी तहसील के उसी तहसीलदार या नायब तहसीलदार के पास आपको जाना पड़ेगा आपका इंतकाल या रजिस्ट्री करवाने. Territorial jurisdiction is the standard format virtually in every form of governance in India. आपका सरपंच का ग्राम पंचायत का मसला है, कौन सा ब्लॉक लगता है, उसी बीडीओ साहब के पास जाना पड़ेगा. You cannot in that sense physically shift the territorial jurisdiction. You are bound to go to one and only one income tax officer. Now this is where the beauty of these detailed notifications which have come out last evening, and I was surprised. I was looking for today's Economic Times Chandigarh edition that these sweeping reforms have come up, but let me see what the headlines in today's Economic Times are, the pink papers. And frankly, I turned from the page first to second to last. There was no mention of this huge change that had taken place. I was surprised because it is not something which came late in the evening. At 11 o'clock, the Prime Minister's address started. Within half an hour, 45 minutes, it was all over. And by early evening, 5:36, the statutory notifications were available in the public domain. But people have not been able to understand the full impact thereof. And I am speaking with a reference to the Gazette notifications. I'll give you flavor of how the things are going to mention, are going to unroll and happen. What I'm going to say may not be 100% correct. A, because I am not an expert. B, these notifications are complicated legal documents. They are in Hindi, they are in English, there are exceptions. One will have to read those, but fact of the matter is that now we are going to deal with the department through a national e-assessment center. क्या है वो? You file your return. The time has been extended. I think it's for individuals this year, it's 30th of September. You e-file your return, your tax person, whosoever does it. Now, it goes into the national e-assessment system. There, a procedure would be adopted and that procedure is basically driven by a computer based software. Your case, if it fits into the criteria which they may have framed, your case would be picked up for scrutiny by this National E-Assessment Center. They would pick your case up, but it would not be कि ये आपका केस स्क्रूटनी में लग गया. This very, very specific, and I read from the Gazette notification specifying the issues for selection of the case for assessment. The National Center will tell the assessee as to why his case has been picked up for scrutiny. They may say, hey, you claimed so much of TDS was deducted. Actually, your drawing and disbursing officer may have deducted, may not have deposited. You please sort it out with your DDO. Or you sold this property, you bought this property, and sales transaction beyond a particular limit, there is bound to be TDS on the sale consideration. वो आपने काटा या नहीं काटा, आपने काटा उसने रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं किया, उसने काटा आपने रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं किया. They will give you the reason for it. Or they will say, sir, you have filed a return for 3 lakh rupees, but we noticed that you've been traveling abroad to America 4 times and staying there. Please let us know from where you got the money to fund your travel or to stay abroad. So, the national faceless, you don't know who's there, person is there, machine is there, artificial intelligence, your case has been picked up for scrutiny. The percentage of scrutiny is not going to be much. My own hunch is it will be less than 0.25%, which is for every 400 returns, one case to be picked up in scrutiny. Now, this comes to you. ये आपके पास नेशनल सिस्टम ने ये बता दिया कि भाई this is the reason on which this particular case is being reopened. So, they have done the job as a computer operating software to pick up your case for scrutiny, broadly telling you what the issues are, so that you are not totally in dark. No one is exploiting you for unrelated issues. Now, who is going to be the assessing officer? Now, this is the beauty of this system, which the Prime Minister calls the faceless system. It will not go to the friendly ITO who was sitting in a ward in Sector 17 in the Ayakar Bhavan. It will land up somewhere. Already a massive restructuring and reassignment of duties has been done, again by statutory notification last evening itself. And my hunch is over 60% of officers, right from the inspectors, ITOs, assistant commissioners up to principal commissioners, headed by a chief commissioner, would now be a part of a regional e-assessment. So, you have a pool of officers sitting scattered all over the country, and you don't know, sir, आपका जो assessment का केस है वो गुवाहाटी में किसी शख्स के पास चला गया है या चेन्नई में या अहमदाबाद में, और मे बी चंडीगढ़ वाले का शायद पंचकूला में चला गया हो, बट यू डोंट नो. नाउ द स्क्रूटनी प्रोसीडिंग्स बिगिन. अब असेसिंग ऑफिसर क्या कर सकता है? वो 3-4 तरीके की चीज़ें, अगेन आई एम रेफरिंग टू द गजट नोटिफिकेशन. One is he may want information from the assessee, information from a third party. Someone has given you loan, आपने कहा जी कि मैंने इनकम तो मेरी 3 लाख है, लेकिन वो ये 2 करोड़ का लोन फलां ने दिया, तो वो he wants the other person to confirm कि 2 करोड़ भाई आपके पास था भी, आपने दिया, if so is it returnable, आप कोई इंटरेस्ट चार्ज कर रहे हो क्या नहीं चार्ज कर रहे हो. So the assessing unit can have a legitimate query during the course of the assessment proceedings to seek some additional information, documents from the assessee or a person with whom he's entered some transactions. Or he may want some certain inquiries and verifications to be conducted. आपने कहा है जी जो मैंने बेचा है, this is agricultural land situated so far away from this municipality, and therefore I am not liable to pay any capital gains on the same. The assessing officer could be legitimately concerned, say, sir, I want this field verification to take place, whether आपके नाम ये जो जमाबंदी में इंदराज है वो था नहीं था, आपने एग्रीकल्चर शो किया, वहाँ कोई शोरूम तो नहीं बना हुआ, मौके पे क्या पोजीशन है. And similarly, technical assistance. Technical assistance could be, again, for instance, you say that you've installed a pollution controlled type of system, and you're claiming 100% depreciation, or you've installed a huge computer hardware and you've claimed 100% depreciation. They may want technical assistance. Now, this information, again, the beauty is the assessing unit will not be corresponding directly with the assessee. He will make this request to the national system, who may then get in touch with the assessee, the third person, or the verification unit, or the technical unit, to help answer those concerns and queries. And the verification unit and technical unit may be here, may be there, वो कहाँ होंगे किसी को कुछ पता नहीं. Of course, one can understand if there is a physical verification, someone has to land up on the spot. But as far as the assessee is concerned, he does not know who's coming from where, from what ward. He is definitely not going to be a part of the e-assessment system. So ये सारा कुछ हो गया. At the end of the day, what the income tax assessing officers do is to draft an assessment order. That is the crux of all the scrutiny proceedings. कि आपने तो भाई इनकम शो की कि मेरी 10 लाख रुपए है, लेकिन उसने कहा कि ये आपने खर्चा ज़्यादा बुक किया है, दिस एन अनएक्सप्लेन्ड क्रेडिट, मेरे मुताबिक ये आपकी इनकम 20 लाख बनती है, उस पर टैक्स इतना, उस पर इंटरेस्ट इतना, एंड यू आर ऑल्सो लायबल फॉर पेनल्टी प्रोसीडिंग. अब this is not something cast in stone, again a beauty of the system, and which is, I would say, the hallmark, and for the first time this has become a very, very friendly type of a provision for the assessee. You don't have now a case कि जी मैंने तो कर दिया, हाँ जी, मैंने तो आपने 2 लाख की इनकम शो की थी, मैंने तो 2 करोड़ की ऐड कर दी जी, मैंने तो एज ITO, एज असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर, आप अपील में जाओ, दलील में जाओ, कुछ जाओ. In the new system, the person who has done your or completed your assessment proceedings, he frames a draft assessment order giving all the reasons, और वो कहाँ जाएगा? assessee के पास नहीं जाएगा. It will go to the national system. अब national system में वो फिर देखेंगे, they can do one of the 3 things. One thing is, and I think this is going to obtain in 90-95% of the cases, but they will go through the assessment order, which is still now a draft order, to say that this is by and large correct. यार इसमें कोई मसला नहीं है, 5 लाख की थी, आपने 6 लाख असेस किया, 1 लाख पे इतना इसका 40,000 टैक्स बनता है, it is final. That is the one option which the national unit has. दूसरा, नेशनल यूनिट वाले कहेंगे यार इसने 3 लाख की रिटर्न भरी है एंड डिफेंस कॉलोनी में इसने फ्लैट लिया है, वो बैलेंस शीट में 26 AS में आया हुआ है, असेसिंग यूनिट हैज टोटली इग्नोर्ड दिस. The national unit is well within its right to serve another additional notice to the assessee and say कि भाईजान बाकी तो सब ठीक है, what about this? And then उसका जवाब आएगा, वो दोबारा फिर consider होगा. And third is he can give that particular draft assessment order for review to another unit. वो उसी तरह के बराबर के अफसर होंगे, लेकिन नो वन नोज कि वो असेसी कौन है, कहाँ है, असेसिंग ऑफिसर कौन था, वो रिव्यू कर रहा है उसका दोस्त या बैचमेट ही हो. They may be sitting poles apart or may be sitting in the same building, but they will review and they may suggest some additional changes. And ultimately speaking, the National E-Assessment Center will then give you an order. उसके बाद वो कहेंगे कि जी ये साहब आपका नया टैक्स है, इस पे डिलेड इंटरेस्ट इतना है, और मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली पेनल्टी प्रोसीडिंग्स वहाँ स्टार्ट होगी. सो ये अब जो चीज़ है, दिस इज़ फंडामेंटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द टाइप ऑफ सिस्टम विच वी हैव बीन यूज्ड टू, कि वो भर दिया, इनकम टैक्स का नोटिस आया है, फिजिकल नोटिस है या ईमेल के ज़रिए, एंड यू आर गोइंग टू द लोकल आयकर भवन, मकबूल रोड अमृतसर चले गए, तो वहाँ ITO साहब बैठे हैं या असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर साहब बैठे हैं, वो पुराने जद्दी पुश्ती आपके वकील हैं, उन्होंने चाय भी पिलाई, केस हुआ, असेसमेंट ऑर्डर टाइप हुआ, एंड वो बात ख़त्म होगी. सो नाउ द scrutiny is going to be much more rigorous, in my personal opinion. The government is showing its cards in advance to you in terms of Form 26AS. उसमें देखिए क्या कुछ सरकार के पास आपके qua you they have, and then you file. It is going through so many hands. The assessing officer, you are presenting your views, they may accept it, they may send it for review, and ultimately जो आपके पास एक assessment order आ गया, then of course once that assessment order is there in your hands, the appeal procedure, which is going to become available from 25th of September, you will again file that appeal. So it will not be the friendly Commissioner Appeals who's sitting there who would be tackling your case. It could be any person sitting anywhere. I mean, it's like playing a chess game on computer. So you would be uploading documents, giving your case law, so on so forth, but ultimately the appellate work is also going to become more and more important. So this, friends, is a paradigm shift. 60% or even more of the income tax department and officers are now going to have a fuzzy jurisdiction, almost like a floating jurisdiction in the cyberspace. आपका केस कहाँ जा रहा है किसे मालूम नहीं, उनके पास किसका केस आ रहा है किसे मालूम नहीं, एंड अगर आ भी गया, ही इज़ नॉट द फाइनल आर्बिटर, he only prepares a draft assessment order, and that draft assessment order goes to the national unit again through the led by the software. उसका रिव्यू होना है, उसमें एडिशन होनी है या इन टोटो एक्सेप्ट होना है, and thereafter if there are still issues you have the right to appeals. And my own sense is that the right to appeals may also be curtailed. Right now you have an appeal to the Commissioner of Appeals, then on a question of fact you have the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, which is technically independent of the Income Tax Department, comes under the Ministry of Law. Then on the question of law and writ jurisdiction of the High Court and Supreme Court, and so on and so forth. So with this type of procedure being prescribed, I'm pretty certain that the appellate procedure would also be rationalized. The department has time till 25th of September to set the whole thing in order. Now, in any reform process, so one question which remains to be answered is, agar 60-70% officers are now part of this fuzzy jurisdiction doing e-assessments which come to them through computer for assessees with whom they have no face-to-face interaction, what are the remaining 20-30% officers going to be doing? My personal opinion is they will continue to exercise territorial jurisdiction, but essentially they would be doing two things. Firstly, where the demand has become final, they would be doing the recovery proceedings. अपने आप अगर आपने टैक्स नहीं जमा करवाया, देन दीज आर द फोक्स सिटिंग देयर हु वुड से कि जनाब मोतियों वाले हो, वी कांट डू एनीथिंग, ये 5 लाख की डिमांड आ गई है, दिस थिंग इज़ फाइनल, आप अपील करके स्टे लाएं, वरना हमने आपका खाता अटैच करना है. दे आर गोइंग टू बी बेसिकली इफेक्टिव एफिकेशियस recovery agents who have the power of law to effect recovery. The very stringent provisions, even detention in civil prison is one of them in case of individual cases. So that is one thing they would be doing. And other thing is, I think those verifications, etc., where you have to visit the spot for a particular locational aspect, or you want to verify an asset which is there or not, that type of thing these officers would be doing. But the bulk of the officers would now be suspended in kind of a fuzzy jurisdiction, I'm using for want of better words, in the cyberspace, and there will be a pool of fungible assessing officers who would be reached through the national e-assessment system. Now, any reforms which takes place, there are always going to be losers or gainers, or perceived to be losers or gainers. I think the first gainer is the government, because its source of revenue is bound to increase. With so much of information regarding your expenditure being collected and literally put under your nose, you will have to declare that income in your income tax returns. The professionals and professionally oriented officers are going to be rewarded. Their quality assessments, their disposal, that is going to be valued by the department. It is not कि 20,000 केस हैं, everything as usual, someone is typing somewhere and routine में केस हो रहे हैं. That type of thing is something which is a thing of past. As an assessee, I would not be harassed by things like a survey. I have to deposit my tax, file my return, very little chance that may come in scrutiny, and if it does come in scrutiny, there are going to be no known persons, faceless, seamless, आपसे क्या extort करेंगे, and उनका भी order final नहीं है, draft assessment है. Someone else is going to see before it gets the finality. The chartered accountants and the advocates, the bright ones who are abreast with the law, who let you know what are the deductions which you can claim, who are up to date with the finance bill and changes in the law which takes place, the law as laid down by Supreme Court, they will say, sir, you can take benefit of this, or please don't trudge into this area, you could be in trouble. Those type of people are going to be the gainers. The losers, if any, are going to be those type of intermediaries and professionals who were saying, "Yo, फिक्र मत करो यार, मैं करवा देता हूँ, वो जानते हैं मुझको, मैंने ऊपर से फ़ोन करवा दिया था," and all that. Those people are going to face heat. They are going to be rendered redundant. They will try to reinvent themselves and reinvent their antics. But my own sense is that this system is far too foolproof, and only a foolish assessee would fall into the trap of those persons who will say कि जो वो मैंने कंप्यूटर सेंटर से पता करवाया, वो कोयम्बटूर में केस लगा हुआ है, वहाँ बात कर लेते हैं, type of thing. Please don't fall into any such traps, because now these things are going to be decided on merit. And of course, the investigation wing, the raid wing, for the absolutely incorrigible people who are dealing totally with cash, having huge transactions in cash, keeping huge caches of cash, entering into Hawala transactions, so on. I think the role of the investigation wing is going to be very, very strong. And once you get into the hands of the investigation wing, because the government has given you a very fair deal, low taxes, the government has given you an exceedingly level playing field. You don't have to run from pillar to post. You don't have to go up and down the stairs of income tax offices. you don't have to respond to frivolous notices. So therefore, now if you still are doing something, then the investigation wing will have not only the areas in taxation, पिछले 7, 8, 10 साल, whatever the law is, cases will be reopened, huge taxes, rates of taxes which are penal, उन पे interest लगेगा and penalty proceedings होंगी, and in certain cases prosecution होगी, you could be behind bars. So therefore, I think 13th August really is a new Independence Day for the Income Tax Department, and more particularly the honest assessee. And the Prime Minister's speech really only very faintly suggested the changes. But if you go through the Gazette notifications, I think it will take some time for even the officers and officials of the Income Tax Department to realize as to what has hit them, so to say. Because the huge changes, this is a paradigm shift. It is not small cosmetic reforms here and there. And similarly, the chartered accountants and advocates are very good friends among them. They are very brilliant people. They will have to sharpen the edge, and they will have to take on and be at the cutting edge of this e-assessment, or also helping people, guiding them to maintain their record properly, so that in the event a case is picked up for scrutiny, your papers are ready. And of course, last but not the least, the common citizen is going to be happy about it. The government revenues are going to increase. The only two exceptions in this e-assessment system, before I conclude, one is international taxation. What is international taxation? Is basically multinational foreign companies operating in India, a Vodafone, an oil exploration company which has India operations, to the extent they earn income from within India, those cases would be dealt with normally face to face. And the other is what is called the central circle, in some cases group cases or purane raid cases which were clubbed together in a central circle. For the time being, they are not coming under e-assessment, but all the new filings, and my own interpretation is all the filings that have previously been done will now be picked up for scrutiny through the system. So this, friend, was a taste of the shape of things to come. It will take time for the department to settle down. I am sure that the background software is ready. The statutory orders redefining the jurisdiction and the new territories have been issued, and as of now, this system is literally online. So friends, thanks for joining, and I look forward to your comments, and I would try and get those statutory notifications into a Google Drive and leave them to you for your perusal. But I'll definitely add at the end of this that snapshot of what are the income levels of people who are the assessees. 1.5 करोड़ तो 135 करोड़ में है, वो 1.5 करोड़ का आगे ब्रेकअप क्या है. So thanks for joining, friends. If there are any mistakes inadvertent, please do point out, and I think we are going to see very interesting changes in the tax administration, more particularly the income tax administration of the country. Thank you for joining, and have a great day ahead.